I had people last week telling me that I was going to change my tune about Choji. That, oh, once you see your backstory, I'm sure you're going to change your tune just like you did with the other. And like, I unironically am asking this. You gotta be kidding me. If anything, it reinforces how crazy he is. This kid is bipolar as hell. This kid got beaten down so hard that he remembered, and I quote, "I'm happy when other people are happy and smiling." You don't freaking say. Now, as I stated last week, I hate him as a person. I love him as a character. I am glad Choji is the way he is because it makes for entertainment gold. But you cannot with a straight face look at me and say, oh yeah, he apologized for being a crazy bitch and like literally tossing away people, treating them like garbage, and forgot what it means to have fun. What have I said since we realized he was a crazy bitch? He needed therapy. He needed a padded room with a straitjacket. Choji is unironically the Grinch who stole Christmas if left unchecked. If he had a poor Christmas one day, say he just didn't get what he wanted, I am convinced this crazy little bitch would go and steal Christmas from everyone. I am Choji's biggest hater. I will continue to hate the way that he walks, the way that he talks. But what an episode. Full live reactions to these Windbreaker episodes. It's going to be over on Patreon exclusively if you want to see my full uncut thoughts. This was a great arc. Like, this arc in its entirety took a very good, fun show into the next level. I don't know what they're going to do for the remaining 4 episodes of this core, but it's going to be hard to top, and I doubt they're going to be able to this core, but this was just the stepping stone. And what I said last week is that sometimes if you look at these flawless victories, every single one of our people won their matches. You might want to say, okay, well, they're too strong, there's no stakes. But in actuality, this was just the first hurrah. This shows us what they're capable of, so now going forward, should they lose matches, should they lose fights, brawls, wars, whatever it's going to be, gang turf related activities, now we're going to really understand because we have it in context. We know who they were fighting were talented and strong, but now that we see that we beat all of them, it will make losses feel more impactful in the future. Now sure, if they never lose a single fight, then that would be an issue, but I don't think we're going to get into that territory, but rather, by using this really well written arc, it's crazy, it is, I mean, I'm leaving Choji. I'm sorry. If he works on himself for a year and really shows improvement, maybe I'd give that kid another shot. But there's no way in hell a simple apology is going to be enough to get me sticking around. Call me a hater all you want. I'll wear that with a badge of honor. But that kid's absolutely insane and needed parents, therapy, a padded room, and I don't know, some Ritalin, some sort of medication. Like he's bipolar. I'm convinced. There's no way you go from crazy bitch mode to happy-go-lucky fun times like that. But I digress. But what I like a lot is how different every single match felt. It actually felt like everyone had their own form of martial arts. Some had more street brawl type techniques. Everything about it just felt like, okay, rather than everyone fighting the same, which a lot of times hand-to-hand combat will feel the same, just with different levels of strength and speed. The way they flipped, I mean, at one point he slid between his legs and does these crazy maneuvers. Like, everyone had their own style and flair, and it didn't make it feel like anime. It made it feel like I was watching real actors in a live action movie or something doing these crazy things. It was so well done. This fight was interesting because it was basically our boy just taking a beating, and once he finally got through, he knocked that fool down to the ground. Like, he absolutely is built different. If there's one thing I could change about this show, and it's something that I feel like most anime never do. You do see the wear and tear on these characters, like they're bloody, they're beaten, they're bruised. But when Choji's like, as an example, beating the living shit out of him, Gojo's taking a mad beating over here, like his teeth are getting impaled like 30, 40, 50 times. We should be coughing up some teeth. That's all I'm saying. You know, with how many times people had their faces pummeled into the ground, ribs kicked, like, there should be, like, broken bones, broken noses, and, like, teeth being broken or chipped away from some of these fights. That's one thing I wish we saw a bit more of, just long-term, because they're gonna be a little bruised and beaten. But the fact that no one broke any bones or lost any teeth after the insanity we've seen is kind of insane. So I kind of hope that maybe in the future fights and stuff, maybe we'll see a little more of that. But that's honestly my only complaint that I've really had out of 9 episodes of Windbreaker. I may be the biggest Choji hater, but he was such an entertaining level of little shit energy that made for this entire arc to take place. Our boy didn't even want his group. He's like, that sounds like too much work. I'm going back to my garden. Like, he didn't give a shit, man. At the end of the day, without him being as crazy as he is, we wouldn't have got the fights we did, and we wouldn't have been able to establish who our people actually are. But at the end of the day, no one with a straight face can tell me that Choji isn't actually mentally unstable. The fact that he can switch so quickly between that, I understand he got lost, he was trying to find happiness, and then it's like, bro, play a video game. Go for a walk. Work out. Anything but coming to the point of skinning your people. Like, even if he's not actually skinning their real flesh, like, the kid was crazy. I mean, I guess congrats for fixing your friendship, but every time I see him, I'm just going to wait for the shoe to drop. And the shoe will probably never drop again. The author will probably keep this little shit wholesome, but every time I look at him, I'm going to think, this is the type of guy who, depending on his mood, could either kick that cat or pet the cat. And you don't know what you're going to get because he's going to remain unmedicated, untherapy, unsupervised, and this is not the life he should be going down. But one thing I do need to make explicitly clear, because there is a large portion of the internet who can't differentiate between, I hate this character, but I'm glad they're a part of the show. I hate Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones, but I'm so glad he's a part of that show. Choji, while not evil, is crazy. A lunatic. I would not touch with a 100-foot pole. I am glad he's a part of Windbreaker, but I hate him as a person. And you cannot with a straight face convince me otherwise when the shit of how easy he flipped. Sure, it's true. Friends should have said, hey bro, you a crazy biatch. That is true, but it's not completely their fault that he's mentally insane. I'm glad he's a part of the show, but WTF. Let me know what you thought of what is probably going to be the best Windbreaker arc for a little bit to come. Like, even once we get into like a second season, I mean, probably going to take a bit to top this if we're being honest, unless they somehow do, but time will tell. Thoughts down below yourself though, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we have Loon, Rogue Knight, Pranay Sumshwar, Darian Smith, Roger Mullins, and we also have Diedrich Savant. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and if you have a loved one in your life who has these types of mood swings, get them some help. We don't need Chojis running around in our real world. Have a good one.